afternoon, Quilt Roadies. Thanks for coming by and visiting with me. I am just doing a video today to give you a little life catch-up and show you what I'm up to. And then I'm going to try a new camera angle. So thank you for being my guinea pigs. Not that you're pigs. Well, guinea pigs are cute though, aren't they? Yeah, they're cute. So it's been the last couple days this week has been spectacular. The weather is spectacular. This morning G and I went walking up the mountain, Scouter's Mountain, and trumped all around up there and then walked back home, and it was a great way to start the day because it only gets warmer as the day goes on, so I wanted to get it out of the way. And I started a new one of a million new food program. So as many of you know or may not know, G and I are G for sure is basically gluten-free. I don't have any gluten problems, but I'm too lazy to try to, I just eat whatever's here in the house, and it has to be gluten-free. And we're vegan. We're vegan because G had health issues and allergies to all kinds of stuff, and it just was the easiest way. And it has been going on, 3 years that we've been vegan. Now, I've been asked many times, since I don't have issues, well, if you were to look at me, you'd say, oh yeah, girlfriend, you're delusional. But I don't have allergies to food except for shellfish. I am anaphylaxis with shellfish, so I have to be careful when it comes to that. But which is interesting because I grew up on shellfish. Yeah. And I actually didn't become allergic to shellfish until after my second pregnancy. Now, isn't that weird? But as I said before, when it comes to going to the grocery store, not my favorite thing. Cooking, not my favorite thing. My mother was not a great cook, and it wasn't her thing. It just wasn't her thing, and it's not my thing either. Luckily, I married a man who likes good food and has no problem cooking. So I eat the same thing that she does. And I've been asked, why don't you, when you're not together, like when you go on retreat or you're away from him, why don't you just eat regular? It's because I'm kind of an all or nothing kind of girl. And it's been so long that now it's not appetizing to me. So I just wouldn't do it. So, gluten-free and vegan. Like you really wanted to know, right? Well, I have been asked about these miniature quilts. Someone said, I didn't know you did miniature quilts. Actually, both of these were published and the patterns for them were published in Miniature Quilt Magazine when it was still in publication. I used to, every time I went on quilt retreat, gather up, all the dog ears, or you cut off the half square triangles and stuff. All the ones that my girlfriends were going to throw away, I would bag up because they were already complementary matched, the half square triangles. And then I would sew them and make stuff out of them. And so those two I have hanging up because they were in a magazine. How cool was that? And then this is a reverse, I don't even know how to explain it. My oldest son is an artist, and he drew, you probably can't see it because of the glare, but he drew, for one of my birthdays, he drew a Singer sewing machine, but he had to draw it in the reverse. So he drew it like the negative. So the paper was black. Yeah, that's it. The paper was black. And he drew around to create the sewing machine. Yeah. And no, I don't do punch needle. I bought that off of Primitive Gatherings site. I love punch needle. I just don't do it. I have had a great week. One of my besties decided to come up and sleep on the Beehive floor. Yes, all I have is a futon right now. We still haven't totally, we're settled. We're definitely settled, but we haven't quite, there's some remodeling ahead and we finally bought a dining room table this week. So, we're not in any rush. We kind of like to feel a place before we figure out how it's going to move around our lives, I guess. So she came up and I put a futon. I said, you can sleep on this futon in the toy room, the playroom for my grandchildren, or you can put it into the Beehive. And she chose the Beehive. And it was soul filling to open the Beehive early in the morning, because she and I are early risers on retreat. We're the first two usually up, and she'd already be stitching when I'd come in here, and then we'd be stitching away, and I wait to hear if G's making coffee. Coffee. Yeah. But it was so awesome. It's kind of like a taste of life. And, we lived on the other side of the mountain for over 30 years and raised our children there. So a lot of history on that side of the mountain. And it was fun to have a little bit of it come on this side of the mountain. It definitely. And the weather's been perfect. The weather has been perfect for us to go walking around. What I'm going to do today is to just give you a little bit of update of what we did shopping. And then I'm trying a new camera angle. I am going to be going to a stitch group that the Fabric Stalkers. We've been together since the 90s, early 90s, or maybe mid 90s. And we have usually, in the early days, we were all working, all doctors and nurses. We had to deal with call, we had to deal with shift work, plus raising our own families. But we made a commitment at that time to figure out how to get together like once or twice a month and stitch at each other's homes. And then we used to, back in that day, we used to take at a minimum 3 retreats a year. It was like what was required to survive all of that hard work. And then, life changes, and slowly we're retiring, and then our children go off to college, they get married, they have children, and so our lives got busier. So that was, do you realize how many times I say so? It's because I'm a quilter, just so you know. But, we have not, you throw COVID into the mix of life in general, and we haven't had a retreat in a long time. But we have one on the books for later this year, and I cannot wait. But this weekend, I get to go to one of their houses to stitch. So I'm going on the other side of the mountain, which made me think, I still haven't bonded. This is, I know some of you will understand this. This is how important quilting is to me. I still haven't bonded on this side of the mountain with a long arm quilter. I don't know anybody. COVID restricts you from most long arm quilters are doing it in their homes. I haven't figured out how the process works over here. How do you get your quilt to them, and all of that stuff. So I called my long arm quilter, my long term, quilted my first quilt on the other side of the mountain. And I said, I have 2 quilts. Do you have time to do them? Yes. That meant that I had to get backing ready in a short period of time. But when my friend was here, my Pocket Robin, we call her Pocket Robin in the Fabric Stalker group because, at least as I understand it, the like nerds, and their pocket has like the calculator and the pen and the pencil and the notepad and all of that, because you need to have something that can give you all the information. Well, that's what Robin is to us. You want an opinion, you want to know how to do something, anything, you ask Robin. So we call her Pocket Robin. Well, while she was here, we went to Acorns and Threads, which is a cross stitch shop, and in Portland. And then we went to Mill End Fabric Store. Now, Mill End used to be really big, like a chain, similar to House of Fabrics. Do you remember that? But now, the Mill End store that used to be in Deschutes County on the other side of the mountain closed years ago. But the original one up here still is open. So I asked her, do you want to go to the Mill End store? I kind of need to get some backing. Well, of course, let's go check it out. It didn't disappoint. I found 2 backings for the quilts that I need to have quilted by Sandy Lakowski, who what you do is you take your quilt and back, and you can take your batting if you want, but since Fabric Depot closed up here, I still have had a hard time finding what batting I want. But she provides batting if you need it. And the process is that you drop your quilt off at the quilt basket in Bend, and they log in the quilts for her, and then she picks them up from there and takes them to her home where her long arm business is. And her where she quilts is between Bend and Redmond. I'm just drowning you in facts, aren't I? The 2 quilts, though, that I wanted to get done were this multicolored, I'm not going to unfold the whole thing, but it's an awesome quilt. And they're both maybe almost double-sized or large throw size, but I just loved that heart fabric in there. That was one of the stripes. So the fabric I found was this one. Isn't that cool? And I'll just put it together. That is so cool. As I predicted, fabric prices are starting to go up. And you don't, no use spending any time complaining about it. Because when the cotton boll weevil happened and cotton prices went up and fabric went up, last decade, we adjusted. We eventually adjusted. And if you want to keep quilting, just keep quilting. Don't spend any energy complaining about the price of fabric. It's going up. It's going up. So the second quilt, I'm not going to unfold it either. I will when I get them back. When I get them back, I'll have G hold them up and I'll take a picture. But this is a pattern that when I walked in the stitching post, it was hanging. I had to have the pattern. And it's called Hugs. You can go on their site and see that. But it's just a giant script of the word hugs. In a solid print. Well, when I saw this fabric at Mill End, it was a no-brainer. It's a Riley Blake fabric, so you can try to hunt it down if you're not local. And I was told by a virtual friend that this week is sign language and deaf awareness in New Zealand. I have one cousin who is deaf. And this fabric, it was over $14 a yard. Yeah. But there was no way I couldn't not get it. It has sign language. Little hands. Can you see that? Little hands doing the alphabet. Oh. I was so glad they had the amount that I needed. And I know when it gets trimmed off, I'll have enough to do some Hexies. I saw this panel. Mill End has a ton of panels. A ton. If you want a quick quilt where you don't want to be piecing all of the squares, but you want to insert some cute panel blocks, any subject, they have it. I'm going to make a project bag. I am. And it's even shows the instructions to make it, and a little tag that says, "This bag belongs to." I know. I'm easily excited. I am easily excited. I was really happy that although the stitching post was out of the jelly roll for my former neighbor Kelly Ray Roberts, who designed her first line of fabric, that online I was able to find a pack of the jelly roll in a flat fold, and so I'm going to be able to make that quilt that I want to make. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. So that came in the mail. Yeah. What I'm going to do next, if you just hang in with me a bit longer, is I have a camera set up to show you how I am packing my Hexie bag, what I put in my Hexie bag for a trip, because I am making a trip over the mountain to my quilt group, and while I am there, I want to work on the Hexies. What can I say? Like my friend Sandy, we are a combination of crow or raven, shiny stuff, new stuff, all kinds of stuff gets our attention and we are off and running, and then we get, she's better than I am, but I get behind and oh my gosh, I want to make this and I want to make this and I want to make this, but I'm having a good time. What can I say? No excuses. I used to browbeat myself, but really, genetically, I'm just predisposed to this kind of view of the world where I want to experience it all. Yeah. So hang in there. G's going to do the two clips together, and I'm going to show you how I pack my Hexies for travel, what I take with me, and also which Yazzii bag I use for that. Now I don't know the name of this Yazzii bag, but I'll kind of do the measurements so you can see which one. And if you're interested in a Yazzii bag, I'm going to be giving one away on the Stitch Roadie site. But I'm going to tell you right up front, you got to be a subscriber of Stitch Roadies, because that Yazzii bag over there is perfect for everyone. Perfect for everyone. Okay, see ya on this next clip. Well, welcome to the second segment. What I do when I'm going to be traveling with projects is I determine which project I want to take. And this is not going to be a long, 2-month travel. It's just going to be for a weekend. So I'm taking only one project, and that is my Hexies. So the supplies I need are not humongous. The list is not long, but I want them to be packed well so I don't lose anything, and also compact. The two cases that I'm bringing are this Yazzii iron bag, and when you open this up, it holds the little small iron. This one is a Dritz, and I love it. It provides steam if you need it. This bag also holds my very favorite spray by the Soak Company, which is called Flatter. And Flatter comes in several different scents, but I have allergies, so I buy the scentless. And I just stick it in the bag and it zips right up. The thing I love about these Yazzii bags is that they are tough. They are just out of tough material. Someday I'm going to have this embellished, but not today. So I take this bag here. For my Hexies, you've seen in a previous video, I embellished this Yazzii bag, and I will put the measurements of this Yazzii bag in the description box. So when you look on Yazzii's site, you can see which one this might be. Now I chose purple. I had this awesome Hexie flower that I wanted to embellish the front, because this is always going to be for my Hexies. So I'm going to pack my bag up. So when you open this bag up, and I'll show you here on the side about how tall it is, it's about 2 inches. It has a little divider here, you know, just to help you stay organized. So I'm going to put things in that I don't want to have bend on the bottom, which means I always take a little cutting mat. This is just one of those, ugly sticker, just one of those self-healing mats, and it fits right in there. And since I went to the quilt house and found this awesome iron, you know, where you can rest your iron on it, I'm taking this too, because the iron can just sit on there without burning anything, and it fits in this Yazzii bag like that, just perfect. Now, by the chance that I get some Hexies ready to put on the background, I have a couple of them pinned here to sew onto the background, and I have a pile of my background ready to go. I'm going to put those on top here. Any Hexies that are already, this one still has the paper in it, but that's ready to put on the background, I just lay it flat in there because it's going to stay nice and flat. Next comes this awesome little envelope. It's a little pocket, and I'm putting it in here. And it has all the mylar, or the paper pieces for the Hexies, extra papers. I also have this pocket that has some mylar pieces. You can stick that in there. I have a pocket that has two pockets in one, and I have to bring my rotary cutter, and I like to bring a pair of scissors, and I always make sure that the scissors are the ones that have a cover, so that I don't poke the pocket, the plastic cover, and then also that fits right there, and I could fit more stuff in there, you can see. My ruler, just to kind of get my Hexies centered. I can stick that upright on the side there. See how nifty that is? Now, one more pocket. Can you believe it? There are 4 pockets to this bag. 4 pockets. This one has 2 small pockets and a long pocket. So in this one I keep the little clips, the fingernail, you know, your finger folder over so you don't burn your finger when you're trying to iron the Hexies. I keep my Hexie, this is by Tula Pink, and this is a clear plastic so that I can kind of center where I want the motifs to be when I cut them out, and it gives a nice edge for my rotary cutter to go around. That fits in that pocket. I have my 2 sponge pens. Why I have 2? It's because I have 2. And the liquid, you put like 5 drops of this in the pen and then fill it with water. I'm just going to put that in there. And then I put all of the baggies. I have all these little snack baggies with already pre-cut Hexies. And since I'm doing the Hexies with Spring Daisy stitchery, which you find on Instagram, I have them labeled by what week and the theme. But you know, you don't have to be that, you don't have to do it that way. And so I'm just, look at that one with the octopus. I mean, is that cool or what? So I'm just putting all of those little baggies in this top part here. So I have, yeah, just everything is there. I use silk YLI thread. This is kind of like a, it's 100 weight, and it's in a, like a light beige material. And I just stick that in there. See how that fit? I mean, it's the only thing else that I'm going to add in here, and it will fit right on top of everything else. What I can't live without is this wool mat, because the steam pulls through when you're ironing. Here I'm sewing some Hexies. You're ironing, it just pulls the heat through and brings it back the other way. I am getting one at the stitching post when I go down to Sisters, because they have a small one, a small size one that will fit in this bag. Perfect. And then I will literally have everything I need for Hexies. So that's it. If this camera angle works, next time I'll actually go through step by step on how I prep and stitch a Hexie. Sorry for the noise outside. It's a beautiful day and everybody is working in their yard. Yay! So thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll get on the Hexie train. What do you say? Or on the Yazzii train. Thank you so much. You take care. Love you guys.